Sweet. I see. We are officially live. Oh man, guys, it has been such a long time since I've found myself back on another Spellborn stream or space. Super excited to be back. Let me just say that. And second, I want to say, first of all, to everyone that's just been following the journey of Spellborn so far, you would know based on today's title, season two, risk and reward. We're gonna dive into so much on everything on that end. But really quickly, I know the space has just begun. If you're now just tuning in, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for showing up. Third, it is also not just a spacing; it is a stream link, so you can also still repost it. Do not forget, show some love on that end. But that being said, I gotta check in with the man, the legend himself, Ghosty. What is going on, man? How have things been? How are you? What's new?
Hey, Basa. I It has been so long. I feel like it has been ages since we last hosted something together. But yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We are currently preparing for a lot of things. Like it's like a list of at least 5 to 6 things that we've been working on, and all of a sudden, all those things and kind of the launch dates are stacked one by one. So we're just preparing for all those things in season two. And yeah, the community is excited. The community loved season one. With season two, we are trying to be more towards deadline based, as we want players to know when things start, when things end, and we are following a new type of a content delivery tool. So we'll talk about that as well. But yeah, super excited to be with you again. And how have you been?
I've been good. I've been good. Definitely could be a lot better the past few weeks, but nonetheless, I think I yearn for the same kind of thing that you just kind of said yourself, Ghosty. I know it's been quite some time since we've hosted together. Um, but you already hinted at many of the things that I do want to get in today, and this is honestly to me a really big update on my end because man, season two, I've literally been seeing this kind of pop up on my timeline. People are just wondering when season two, what's next for season two. So I'm ready and excited to get into this today. Do not forget, guys. I see Navo here in the chat. I hope we're all doing well, guys. Really cool to see you. Don't forget, show some love to today's stream. But look, I think the best way to kind of kick off today's conversation, Ghosty, is kind of tracing back from our last stream together on since then, what has kind of just been the recent updates, right? As far as like where has your mind been at on what do you think is going to be the next steps for Spellborn in order to propel it forward? Ghosty, we'll to your thoughts on that.
Uh, there have been a few major features to give context on how we work on our side in terms of features, feature updates, and things that we are planning for. There's always a single developer handling the whole feature. So if I am working on something, it's just me working on it, and this allows us to ship things faster because um, or since we are a small team, we have context regarding almost every other feature that is being built, and every developer reviews each other's code, and this allows us to have a better context regarding what we are building and what we are planning towards. So personally, I have been working on the mobile releases for the game, but there are a few other things that I am also excited about. But I would say the mobile releases for Spellborn would kind of put it to a next level, because a lot of our players, for example on iOS especially, due to the issues with Safari browser, because Safari browser is not good for gaming, so it crashes a lot. Like the game crashes a lot. This causes a lot of players to just go away from the game, and there have been a lot of players just demanding for the native apps. So that would kind of bring a lot of players back into the game. Plus it would kind of allow us to reach newer players, as we'll be also bringing in the game on Epic Game Store at the same time, so it will kind of go live on multiple stores. And we'll start with our web 2 marketing as well around the same time. So a lot of things, and our marketing for Web 2 will be mostly based on memes, mostly based on video content creation, and talking to the community directly, explaining our features in a funny way, with our characters being the main point of communication, and the main characters here being Voodoo itself. So Voodoo, Pandoro, the main monsters that are popular among the community, those monsters will help us communicate the features regarding the game itself. And this kind of strategy has been very very popular among web 2 games, in terms of the indie titles especially. And it has worked out well for many of them. Like, those games started from a few thousand followers, and going over 100,000 followers on Twitter within months. So the strategy that we are focusing on is tried and tested. And with the mobile release, with season 2, with our attribute system, with our guild system, the game will become a true MMO, and it will be playable on every platform. This is something that we've been saying for years now. It's almost 2 or 3 years now that Spellbound will be available on all platforms, and it will be cross platform. So finally that will be live, and players would be able to play on iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, Linux. And if things go well, we might even move towards console. But yeah, that's gist of all the things that I'm excited about.
Oh man! First of all, I'm just enjoying watching everyone here kind of just rally behind you in the game. But I wanted to follow up on something that you mentioned, Ghosty. You mentioned that you're working on the mobile side of things, right? I'm curious. Did you ever feel at a certain point that because that Spellborn wasn't accessible to mobile, that there's this audience that is missing still, like this gamer, I guess, players that you're not getting in touch with because of the mobile side has not fully been developed yet? Has that ever been a thought that crossed your mind?
That and another thing. So if we talk about mobile itself, it gives us a lot of different tools.
Mm,
Not many people might realize this, but if the game is available on mobile, you have the user's attention at any point. Like if someone is playing Spellbound on PC,
right.
then they will not get notifications about it. But on mobile, we can send them notifications. Your crops will expire in 1 hour. Your crops are growing right now. Your monster is about to gain this much experience, and so on. So those kind of things, and regarding PvP in tournaments, all those things, we will be able to communicate to the player directly. And this communication will be almost instant. So that's the first thing, because currently we rely on sending out emails, or just doing normal communication via social media, so Twitter, Discord. And since our community, the user base is kind of split between two halves of the world. Like one half is in Philippines, one half is
Right.
in Brazil. So it's not an efficient way of communication. But if we go on mobile, each player has his own notification systems. So then we would be able to actually bring back players regularly, instead of them having to constantly watch out when their crops will expire. Because right now a lot of players feel that pain, that their crops expire and they're not able to harvest on time. So those kind of things, that's the first thing that is essential. And it will play a major role for us in terms of what things we have for season 2. As well as as you mentioned, like, there is a user base that we're missing. Because right now, the if we look at the player base inside Spellbound, there is a huge gap between certain players that have become very very skilled, and
Mm,
certain players that are very very new. So if we look at the PvP matches, if you try to battle, and if you're a good player, you just straight away jump to the highest league. If you're a bad player, you're just stuck on the silver league. And
mm,
there is no one in the middle league. Like, no one is present in the gold league right now. So if you somehow end up there, you do not find any matches. So that those kind of leagues, they will actually be filled by players that are more casual. So players that are good at the game, but they don't grind the game for hours. Like, if someone is grinding the game on the PC itself, they are doing it for hours. Like, they play
Right.
for 5-6 hours daily, so they become very very good at the game. But if someone is playing on mobile, they'll play for 30 minutes, they'll play for 45 minutes at max, and then they'll just wait for their crops to grow, and then they'll hop back into the game. So it's like, we are able to provide then shorter sessions, and those players will be middle skilled, and they will kind of cover up that leaderboard. So it will bring in a lot of new players. It will also bring in existing players who dropped out because they could not play the game on their mobile, as a lot of players prefer to play on mobile. And since our game is kind of very much optimized for mobile, so they feel like they're left out, because on Android it runs very very well. Like, it
Mm,
runs
mm.
perfect in the browser. But on iOS, it's the opposite. It crashes almost every 5 minutes based on what UI you're opening, because the browser runs out of memory. So those kind of issues will be solved, and all mobile players will be on level terms, and this would essentially bring back a lot of players. And I say this because I've heard it from a lot of players who are just saying, I'm just waiting for the native apps to come out, and then
Mhm.
I'll start playing Spellbound on a regular basis, because I can't play on my PC. I don't have my PC right now. I only have my mobile, and it does not run well in the Safari browser because I only have iOS. So those kind of users, essentially we want to bring back into the game, because first of all, iOS users are heavy spenders. They spend more than Android users.
True.
And iOS users, if an iOS user is playing the game, the amount of shareability that they can bring to the game, it's huge. So that there are a lot of different factors that will come into play. This will increase the number of players that play the game. This will also increase our revenue numbers, which allows us to push more content, more monsters, more features into the game on a regular basis.
No, man. First of all, that's the type of insight that I was trying to hear from you. And I actually love this comment. I believe this is from Pin in the comments. He said, "Spellborn for Nintendo Switch." I feel like, man, that it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the type of the game that you've built with Spellborn Ghosty, but I can see this performing extremely well. Kind of like with the connection, like for example, with OG Pokemon, I always think of like Nintendo DS, like the classic Game Boy, right? So to hopefully see, right? You mentioned like if all things go well, even on console, right? Spellborn to that extent would be insane. I do want to pivot a little bit here because based on today's title, you have it titled as Risk and Reward, right? So I would love to hear on what you have planned, or maybe this is a hinting at something, Ghosty, that here in season two, Risk and Reward. What are your thoughts when it comes to this, and maybe why did you choose this for today's stream?
So risk and reward is hinting at PvP, it's hinting at guilds, it's hinting at the profession system.
Mm,
And we can go it based on tiers, because PvP and guilds are, so PvP is just personalized multiplayer. You are a single player playing against other players. Guild is, you are playing alongside your friends against other players, and
mm,
the attribute system is just you playing. So there is risk in everything. When in the profession system, for example, I pushed out this tweet today regarding the attribute system, on how it works and how players can actually increase their luck in the game. Essentially, you can be lucky in getting an enchanted monster or rare monster in the game, or you can make your own luck. And how you do that is, you level up your attributes, you level up your stats, and once you max out all your stats, you can actually exchange them for a higher chance of enchanted monsters in the wild. So you'll get a higher chance of rare monsters spawning on the map for you, and you basically lose all your stats, so you have to grind again. And it kind of makes the game infinite, but it's also allows a lot of players who are just playing for free, because essentially, when we look at the game economy of Spellbound, how we are focusing on it is, we are taking the user base into two forms. There is
mm,
a free to play user, there is a user that spends. And if there are users that are spending in the game, we assume that they are skilled players. They are skilled players who are spending on, buying out those monsters and kind of breeding them together, creating the perfect monsters so that they can, have an edge in PvP. But the free to play players, they can be skilled, but they can also be unskilled, someone who is very new to the game.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
we want them to have a chance at earning without having skills. And that can be based on grind. So either you can be skilled, you can spend less time, you can, participate in PvP, you can earn tokens from there. Or you can grind in the game, you can be lucky, and you can, play the game on a regular basis, max out your skills, and then increase your chances of luck and get a rare monster. So if I am a free to play player and all of a sudden I get a rare monster, I can actually sell it to someone who has been spending in the game and someone who is a skilled player, because if someone is, spending in the game, they are spending because they want to show off. And if I have a rare monster, I have a shiny monster, I have an enchanted monster, they will 100% buy it from me. And you can already tell this based on the prices of existing monsters that are present in the marketplaces.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
the base price of our starter monster collection is right now is around $100. So this
Hmm.
was a free mint. It is around $100 right now, but the highest sales have been around $5,000, and those sales have been for rare monsters only, so the ones with different colors. And they're not like, they don't have any extra stats, they're just different colors. So it's just for show off. And you can see that these two player groups already forming, and we want to give everyone an equal chance and kind of level the playing field. If someone is a free to play player, they can have a higher chance of grinding based, kind of have a higher chance of luck and higher chance of enchanted monsters based on their grind. And then they can either choose to sell that monster or they can continue grinding. If they sell that monster, they can use that money to invest in monsters with better stats and kind of then participate in PvP. So this way, even if free to play player is on level grounds with the paid player, and it's all about how much time you spend in the game. And we want that spent time in the game to be meaningful. Right now players are just grinding and looking for a wild monster that has good stats. It doesn't make sense. But in season 2, once the attribute system is live, you will be grinding for specific stats. So you want to, for example, I want to improve my chances of or I want to learn new crafting recipes. I can grind those grind the crafting side of profession and kind of increase my experience there and get learn new crafting recipes, get new items that I can use in the battle system. So all those type of things. So it's all about risk. And free to play players use the risk here. PvP players, we are adding kind of PvP betting. So you can bet on, which player will win. This is in partnership with an external project. We might announce it next month or in January.
Sick.
And in terms of guild wars, that's around January and Feb. So you can imagine that there's different levels of risk in the game, and this is just the beginning. Because what we want to do is we want to create the perfect mixture of an MMO and a game that targets regions, but also targets casual players who just want to have a cozy game to play with.
Ghosty, this is the type of stuff that gets me so excited about the next steps for you guys. I'm curious, Ghosty, because when I think of risk and reward, right? I think of kind of like what you're describing this whole entire take. How much time do I give into the game, and what am I gonna get out of it, right? Um, I'm curious though, Ghosty, what are your thoughts though on potentially leveraging the Spellborn token, right, as a way to increase retention, right? Because I think to like uh I've been having this conversation literally all week, the whole month, honestly, since Q4 has kind of started. Is just meme coins, right? Their mind share, the way that they're able, their ability to drive liquidity in projects, right? Do you have plans to kind of leverage the Spellborn token to kind of increase initiatives or to kind of even start initiatives, right? Anything along those lines? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the initiatives will be on all levels. So this is just
Mm.
for not for players, but also for creators. also for just players who are here to manage things, because
Mhm.
there are a lot of players that don't play the game, but they want to manage guilds, like they want to manage other players. And these kind of players actually were the people who kind of played the role of handling scholarships in the Axie era. So you can imagine what kind of liquidity we are targeting. So there are degens that will be interested in fast quick battles. And since you mentioned that meme coins have been able to keep attention, and it's based on meme coin attention is based on something that is an emotional experience. So
Mm, mm,
that's the first thing. It's an
mm.
emotional experience. Then the second thing is that it drives attention, and this attention then brings in liquidity. And this
Right.
attention can be based it's mostly dependent on two things: how long it has been running. So for example, for us, our season 1 ran very very long, like it was way too long. And a lot of players just lost their attention span, because web3 players, they don't have really long attention spans. Even web2 players don't. But in terms of attention span, how we want to target that is based on our new content model. So we are going with a three-phased approach. The first
Mm.
phase is the seasons itself, where token rewards are given, and token rewards are given at the end of every 3 months. Okay, so each season will run for 3 months. So if season 2 started this month, it would probably end around early Feb, mid Feb of next year.
Right.
And these are concrete deadlines. So the second thing is, since season runs for a month, now we want to look at what will run for a single month, because not everyone has the time to play for 3 months.
Right.
Someone
Right.
would be play being someone would be able to play this month, but they would be busy for holidays and they would come
Right.
back in January, and how that happens. So the second level is the PvP eras. So era is basically 30 to 45 days, and each PvP league, it runs for 30 to 45 days, and at the end of every era, you are able to claim your item rewards. So the first phase was token rewards. The second phase is item rewards,
Mhm.
where players are able to participate in PvP and get their item rewards every 30 or 45 days. And these item rewards sometimes can be very very rare, so it depends upon the league itself. If this month we would be giving a Capybara monster with 2 in 8s maxed out. So it's very very beneficial for someone who is looking for increasing the stats of their Woo dot, because players can get unlucky with that. So that's the second level. The third level is our event system, which we did in the first month. We hosted 4 events with 4 different projects, and those events did really really good numbers.
Mhm.
And I say good numbers is like, for example, with our Play Ember event, we had about 13,000 daily active users playing the event for the whole week. So
Wow.
you can imagine uh, what differences and the attention span can bring. As I mentioned, like the first thing is the attention span itself. Now
Yeah.
the emotional connection, it's built through our gameplay itself. So attention span, it's based on the events, it's based on the era system. So for example, if I am a PvP player, what I'll do is I'll start playing right now, and I don't play for another week or maybe 2 weeks. And then I'll come back and I'll manage my rank, and I'll manage it just enough to claim all the rewards. And that's it. I'll do that. That's it. And then I'll just wait until the season, and I'll claim my rewards. So we don't expect the player to play every single day. That's one thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
There can be players that are busy right now, but they would be available later. There are players that are available right now, but we would be busy later. And we don't want the overall launch schedule to be less than even 2 weeks, because then it leads to players missing out. And we don't want players to have the feeling of missing out, because that also causes a lot of players to kind of move away from the game. Like they'd be like, I missed out this important event, and now I'm just behind all these players, and now I won't be interested in the game at all. So we do not want that. But
Mhm.
the event system would then be still important, as it would provide different content from time to time. So for example, there is a double XP event that will happen every single month at the second Friday of every single month. And then the soul exchange event that happens every season, so every 3 months it happens. The first one was a huge success for us. It brought our battle numbers from 15 million to 20 million in a single week. And the next event we're kind of basing around the community designs, because a lot of our community members, like pixel artists, they have risen to the occasion, and they're sending us monster designs, and they want them to be incorporated in the game. So there are a lot of different things that we are trying to emulate that are already available in meme coins. But the main idea is that players, what we can do from our end is catch the attention of the player, provide them an emotional experience, and then it's up to the player base on what they build from there. If they are able to build a culture, if they are able to build a community from there, which you can already see on the screen, like there's like
Yeah.
six Winnie the Pooh bears standing in line. So you can
There's
see, like,
yeah.
it's open to building out a culture. And now it's 7. It's open to building out a culture of memes. It's open to building out a culture of a community that is very, very close. So that's something, a lot of meme coins derive from. And you
Yeah.
can see that with a lot of meme coins as well. Like, you'll see the difference where the community actually exists and where it is being forced.
Mm,
Like,
mm,
with
mm.
with a lot of meme coins, you'll see this. And you can see the difference in their success as well based on that. Like, if the community just exists for the vibes, it will be a very, very successful meme coin.
Mhm,
If
mhm.
it's just a meme coin that is forced on an existing idea of a meme, it will feel forced, and the community would be non-existent. You will see that they're just bots that are looking for liquidity to sell into. So you want to build out a culture, but for that you want to create an emotional experience that we create with gameplay, and you want their attention from time to time, not always, but from time to time, and enough so that they stay connected to the game. And for that we are using a multi-layered approach. And then we create, we maintain the culture that they are creating, and this culture can be based on around our guild system. So there are certain guilds that focus on Philippines based players, certain that focus on Brazil based players, certain that focus on something inside the game itself. Like, there are users, there are community members that just love a single monster, and they're even willing to create a whole guild based around that single monster. So there are a lot of things that we can do from our end, but there are a lot of things that our community will have to do, and they will do it based on how much they like the game, how much they
Yeah.
love the gameplay. And based on the feedback, based on things that we have seen, our community does love the game. They just want more content, they want more updates, they want more rewards, they want more challenges, and they want different kinds of features that we've been promising, or that they have seen in other games, that they want finally to be implemented. Because a lot of players, they weren't able to play Pokemon early on, like,
Right.
and this is their first experience with this kind of gameplay. A lot of players that did play Pokemon, but they can't find a similar game at this point. It's another experience for them. Like, if I say a lot of players are very, very skilled in Spellborn, it's because they played MMO in the past few years.
Mm,
Like, our
mm.
best player are so our best player was around, he had around 40,000 battles in season 1. We were so impressed, we brought him to our moderators team, and he played MMO before. And that's the main reason why he knows what the grind is. And that's how we are kind of building out the community, like taking the aspirations of people who want to enjoy these kind of communities for the first time, and taking the aspirations of people who want to relive their moments from their childhood, the nostalgic moments, but with their friends. And and they want to be able to play these things on any devices that they have.
Man, I just, the only thing I wanted to say to all this is like I can't help but admire and respect the literal cult that you've built um over the past year, Ghosty. I think this is one of those scenarios where even if it's 8, 7 Winnie the Poohs sitting here in one single camera view, right? It's clearer than ever that you were able to achieve this, Ghosty, with just by building an awesome game, right? And I don't think many games nor even like IP NFT projects can say the same, right? Because, you know, for the longest time, I think what's been lacking is this sense of culture, especially when it comes to, blockchain games. I think that's something that was kind of, it kind of develops on its own, but it's so reliant on one, the team that is behind it, but more importantly, how are you able to, like you said it, right? How are you able to emotionally connect that gamer to the IP, to the community that's being built here? And to see it kind of firsthand over the past year since I've started hosting with you guys, it's been amazing to see the type of results you're able to achieve. And I think this is a scenario where, you know, and maybe this can lead to my next question, goes because I do have I want to hear your thoughts on this. Right, I feel like Web3 gaming at the beginning of this year was on this crazy attention span. A lot of people were talking about it, but then I feel right now, not that it's declining massively, but more so of it's kind of like in a meme coin, right, where it goes through this accumulation phase where it kind of consolidates, it kind of gets rid of all the flippers, people who don't even believe in it, and now you're kind of sticking with the people who do see that vision, who do see the potential of Spellborn, right? What are your thoughts first on just the overall, Web3 gaming scene? Do you think we're kind of uh, slowing down a little bit in terms of, attention span and the way that people are interacting with this side of the space, or do you think we're kind of do you think Web3 gaming is at the place where it needs to be, right? Where it's kind of going through this slow phase, but it doesn't mean it's dead. It's just it is gonna have its another leg up soon. Um, Curious to know your thoughts on that, Gosi.
So it's a mix of many things. Right now, you see a lot of. So if we talk about the launches that have been taken place in the past month or so regarding tokens that are specific to Web3 gaming, those launches weren't good. They were
Mm,
not good at all. And I would say, comfortably, I can say this, that they were failed experiments. And they felt like experiments because what the teams did was, really, really out of the ordinary. Like they were trying to, kind of emulate what the meme coin culture is like, it's community owned and it's on the DEX itself, and you can't really build that, you can't really force that out of nowhere. You
right,
have to
right.
have it, as you kind of mentioned before you started with your question, is it's built on its own. Like you can build out a product, you can build out, a game, and then you have to wait.
Mm-hmm,
If people feel comfortable with it, if people like it, if people have fun with it. And this is not just games, this is also meme coins. And that's why
mm-hmm,
I said that, there's different kinds of meme coins. There are ones that feel, forced, and there are ones that feel natural, that, communities are funny, they build out a lot of memes, they start even building out products. So all those things only happen on their own. You
mm-hmm,
just need to build out a good product, and then it's up to you. And I wouldn't say anything regarding the quality of their products. They are games. Games have different, levels of quality, but it's about making sure that you're able to target your community. Because if you're, for example, I'll take an example of one of the games that was targeting purely Web2 users. So they had multiple mobile games, and they were targeting purely Web2 users. And all of a sudden, they're going Dex towards a Dex launch. Uh, Web2 users don't use Dexes.
mm-hmm.
Dex users don't play games on mobile. It's a clear mismatch of what they're targeting and what they're doing. So if we talk about the failures in Web3 gaming, it's mainly because of the mismatch between what they have been building and what they're targeting. And if we talk about meme coins having the attention, and I would say that's just kind of the attention span of Web3. They can't focus on two different things at the same time.
True.
So it's either meme coins, it's either gaming, it's either AI. Right now, it's shifting from meme coins to AI meme coins all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this new thing of AI bots, that push out tweets, and they push out kind of bullish tweets regarding your project, so they you'll follow them. So it's funny to an extent, but I would say Web3 gaming is I would say it's kind of accumulating right now.
Mhm.
And we will see successful launches. There are a lot of launches, including ours, that will be going live in the next 1 or 2 months. And all those games that are building, even for us, what we are building, what we are trying to do is right now is that on day one of the token. So for example, at the end of the day, it's all about how well your token does.
Right.
If it's a Web3 project, for that to happen, if you are a meme coin, you already need a community. If you are a game, you already need a good product that is already live. And the word utility comes into being. So you want good utility for the token on day one, you want good community to trade it. And for both of those things, for us, that's what we are trying to build right now. We are trying to finish up all the pending tasks that we have regarding the utility of the token. So marketplaces, testing out all those things. But we are also pushing out content. We're also pushing out the guilds feature, bringing in multiple guilds from other games, successful games in
Right.
Web3 and Web2, bringing in content creators from Web2, and then doing marketing towards Web2. Because you can create a Web3 culture, but you also need a Web2 culture as well, and those two cultures cannot clash.
Mm,
So
mm,
it's
mm.
it's something that is very very important for games to focus on. And this is something that Web3 games struggle with. For meme coins, they don't really struggle with it, because memes are, they it's like basic communication. You don't need words for memes. You can
Yeah.
communicate with pictures. For games, you need a lot more tools to communicate. Even games can be complex, games can be simple, so it's much more difficult to communicate. And I would say it's in accumulation phase right now. It will have a leg up very very soon, because a lot of quality projects, including ours, are going to launch on chain, have the token live, and have a lot of new features live. For example, there's this one project called Project O. They're kind of building a TCG that is kind of based on risk. So it's
Mm.
it's games that are targeting degens, games that are targeting the attention span of those players. And you can see that with a lot of games doing their events right now. And those events usually only last for 2 weeks. That's it. Like the
Right.
max length of
Right.
these events, for example, you see it with Cambria, with Fableborn. Their events only last for like 2 weeks. And it's because of that, it's because they are trying to get that attention span that I was talking about. So you
Mhm.
can get that attention span, you can build out utility, you can build out a great product, but then it's up to your community to build out the culture. And that culture will then kind of move your token forward. Like if right now there is a good amount of community that is present around the game, even if the token doesn't do well on day one, it will do well in the long term, because the community will handle it.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's how I'm thinking in terms of Web3 gaming. Like right now, it's accumulating. Right now, the attention span is towards AI meme coins and whatnot. But soon, if it's like Web3 is all about that Toy Story meme, where the character picks up Woody and he's like, "I'm done playing with you," and
Yeah.
then he picks up a new toy. So that's literally what Web3 is.
That's so true. I actually love that reference, and it makes sense. I love what you said too, Gosi, about like this Web 2 culture cannot clash with Web 3. And it's actually interesting when I observe that take, because what I'm starting to realize is, for example, like Doodles just recently announced this McDonald's partnership, right? Like I feel from an IP standpoint, this is what Web3 has been wanting to see from what Web2, like in terms of collaborations, right? In terms of like how do we collaborate with Web2? I see it in that sense, but then I also see in your lens of your take when you said Web2 culture can't clash Web3, because in Web3 we just have such a different environment that we've kind of built over time, right? And I also love how you brought up how these other games like Fableborn or etc., right? They'll only do events that maybe will last like a month or maybe even less, 1 to 2 weeks. And again, you emphasize the whole attention span, right? And I think that is something we always have to constantly consider when it comes to building here in this space, is that attention span is going to fly left and right. Kind of like what you were saying with this whole Toy Story narrative, right? The moment the next shiny object is all no longer shiny, Web3 is already on the hunt for the next shiny thing, you know? And so it makes me just kind of, I guess kind of reflect on what we've been seeing this past year alone. And it's kind of given me a glimpse on like what is going to be the next big thing for the years to come, right? And I feel like it's going to be this trade-off between meme coins, gaming, NFTs, and the whole cycle kind of repeats from there. But what? No, I love this conversation so far. I do now just want to highlight a little bit, because I know we've been kind of just stagnant here in the game so far, and what people are seeing on the stream. But what can we kind of just see from a gameplay perspective? Kind of just updates, Ghosty, regarding season 2. Anything you particularly want to showcase on today's stream for the viewers today?
So this is the production build. This is what is already live. I can show you achievements first of all. So achievements, a few achievements have already gone live. We will be adding more achievements,
Mm,
and our focus is on creating Nuzlocke mechanics. So we want players to create, uh, kind of handle things in a different way and make things that are not too simple. So, for example, a normal game achievement could be you defeat 100 monsters, and that's
right.
that's not really fun. Like I can keep on playing the game and I can just do it. That's not really fun. But what if I say that you complete 25 battles, you win those 25 battles, but you never attack?
Mm, mm,
And since this is a game all about attacking, how will you do it? So those kind of Nuzlocke mechanics, making the game more interesting, because there are people that when they get bored, they want these kind of challenges, and these
true.
kind of Nuzlocke mechanics, they are very very good streamable moments. Something that you want to stream on different platforms, because it makes for an interesting gameplay mode. So that's one thing. And that's the major component for the start of season 1 is achievements. It's PvP leagues, and PvP leagues, I think we've already shown it before, like the UI itself. You can sign up for PvP leagues. You can start with silver, or you can battle in randoms. You can even spectate existing battles, and these battles are between all the players. That this takes a bit of time to load, because it's like 2 million documents in battles.
No worries, no
So
worries.
you can spectate battles, and you can look at your personal stats. My personal stats are barely anything, because I don't play in production. You can And also there have been certain updates in the UI itself. So the chat box has seen some updates. You can now create custom channels. So
Oh,
if I
nice.
want to create a channel, for example, for just my friends, and it would be Whispers right now. But we will add filters for guilds. We will add filters for friends, and so on. And Whispers are basically messages that people send you in personal chat. So these are
Mm, mm.
messages that people have sent me, and okay, too many messages, I
Too
do
many
not know.
messages.
And overall, so that's the kind of thing, like this what we are trying to do right now is turn the game into an MMO, and then push it to different platforms. So
Mm,
the first part
mm.
for an MMO is communication, and for that we are improving communication. So you can actually now click on someone and then send them a friend request. You can send them, challenge them for a PvP
Challenge. Yeah,
battle.
yeah.
You can view their profile. So this user has 10,000 battles. And
Ooh.
so you'll find a lot of players that have so many battles in Spellbound. Like I've told you that a good amount of the player base, they basically grind the game to an extreme. And then there's the other player base that plays, for 5 to 10 minutes daily. So the level of knowledge that they have, these two player bases, that's the difference is vast.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's one issue that we've been facing. But overall, so we started with achievements, we started with improvements in communication. We will move forward with professions, which I'll quickly explain what professions are,
Mm,
and so how professions work. So if we talk about professions in general, we call them skills internally, but skills, I would say, what we want to do is when players are playing the game. So, for example, if someone is grinding out, 10,000 battles, as you saw, it doesn't improve their experience over time. Like their first battle would be the same as their 10,000th battle.
mhm,
What we want to do is if someone has been battling for so long, we want to give them a new challenge. We want to give them
mm,
more rewards. So players can kind of grind out different professions and the different skills. And these skills can be crafting, farming, fishing, mining. Mining would allow you to get crystals. So that's another issue that players were facing, that they couldn't get gems for their crystals. So now they will be able to mine for those gems, then use those gems to craft crystals to capture monsters. So that's
mm,
how all of this connects.
mhm,
And players can do these actions, they gain XP in these actions, and their skills improve over time. When skills reach to maybe like level 10, level 20, then they get decisions to make. So I can decide to become a miner, I can decide to become a farmer, and based on that I'll get certain extra buffs. And these buffs can be anything. These can be extra items while farming, these can be extra new recipes while crafting, these can be extra XP from battles. And it just depends on what I want. But there would be a time when everyone reaches, they complete all the stats, and now they're like, what should I do? So
right.
at that point we say, you take a risk, you remove all your stats and you start again from zero. But in return, you get a higher chance of an enchanted monster appearing in the wild. And I say
Mm,
higher chance, it's because enchanted monsters are so damn rare. There have been two enchanted monsters captured till now, just two
wow, wow.
out of 1.6 million.
Oh my gosh.
So you can imagine how rare they are.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
why players would want to take the risk, because these monsters, they will be like, if you want to show off, it's a next level of show off. Like I want to show off my shiny monster, no one has it in the whole map. So everyone, and since this game is web3 loves to show off, web2 players love to show off, so it kind of ties them down well to that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that percentage increase is what we call the prestige system. So you can increase your prestige by exchanging your skills, and you can do this infinitely. You can keep on grinding the game for infinite, and then you can improve your skills and increase your chances. And this not only increases the chances of an enchanted monster, this also increases chances of other variants. And this is something that we've recently started doing. So other variants is like we release one variant of a monster every single month. So for example, for November, it was a capybara with a Halloween hat. So when you move around in the game world, your capybara is actually wearing a hat. So it's like skins for monsters, and there's like 15 of those captured till now. That's it throughout the whole month. So they are also rare, but they're not that rare. Like
Mm,
enchanted is the most rare. So you can increase your chances for all types of these variants. And that's one thing. So now communication has improved. Now there are skills, so infinite content for players to do. What's next? Now comes the actual risk part. So guilds go live, then PvP bets, the part with the external project and mobile apps to reach out to web 2, because now we have infinite content, and for web 2 we wanted infinite content. And for web 2, for that marketing, that is totally separate. Like our web 2 marketing will be totally separate from what web 3 marketing is. Like with web 3, we do multiple weekly updates. So for example, for the past 5 weeks we have pushed out weekly updates, and on our new website that we pushed out last month. And for web 2 itself, it's all about the gameplay. It's not about the features, it's not about the uh, tokenomics, it's not about the token itself, not about the economics. It's all about the gameplay.
Hmm.
And we want to showcase the gameplay, but we want to take advantage of memes. We want to take advantage of the funny nature of our characters. For example, Woodot is literally a seed that jumps around. So we have funny characters, we have funny monsters. For example, there is a monster that is a beaver. Beavers that
Hmm.
build out
Hmm.
kind of build their houses with wood. So beaver, and the final mutation is just called Justin. It holds an ice cream stick. So these kind of memes, and that's something that we are going with. Like for example, there's a dog on fire called Ignif Puff, and its mutation is called just good boy.
I
Like
love
it's
these
out of
names.
the ordinary.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
these kind of things we want to meme with, and these kind of things we want to use to target web 2. Because
Yeah.
with web 2, it's all about the funny nature. It's something that is eye catching. For example, we can create a meme about how managing monsters inside Spellborn is like managing children. So if you don't want to have children, you can just play Spellborn,
I
gain
love that.
experience. So
Yeah.
that's our web 2 marketing. And this is basically how most web 2 games that have been successful this way have done it. And I can take an example. For example, this is a game called Cult of the Lamp. This game is all about building cults. This game is all about sacrificing things. They build out funny memes around their game itself. And their game started with I think it was around 6,000 followers on their Twitter, and they ended up with 300,000 followers.
Oh my
It
gosh.
didn't end up being like the game of the year or anything, but it did gain enough attention to become a cult following. Like it's the name isn't the game. Like it's Cult of the Lamb, and the community is literally a cult. And how it is a cult? Because they have been able to use their community as a tool. And I would say as a tool is basically, now what happens is they don't create the content, their community does.
Mm,
There are
mm.
multiple pages on Instagram that just focus on creating reels about Cult of the Lamp characters. They create content about, and these are funny reels. This is like Pudgy Penguins creating content on Instagram.
Yeah.
But it's not their team making it; it's the community members making it. So it's that's the main focus of how I've been explaining things. Like you build out something, you build out good something good, then you capture their attention, and then it's up to them, it's up to your community to build out that culture, and
Mhm,
for you
mhm.
to nourish it. And for us, that's what we have been trying to do. Like you can barely see where I'm standing right now. Even
Exactly.
I don't know so you so this is exactly what our roadmap is right now. So in the short term, we push out all the features that we've been promising. Push out Spellborn on multiple platforms, make it a true MMO, and make push out guilds, push out tournaments, push out all the things, all the utility that players have been waiting on. Once we have infinite content, we go heads down into web 2, bring those players in. And since we will be available on almost all platforms, we won't have to just give them a hint like we are available on this platform. We'll just say play Spellborn, and they'll
Mhm.
search it on any platform. Spellborn will be available there. They have iOS, they have Android, they have Windows, Mac, Linux, they have browser, and they have console. We can also launch on console. Why? Because we have a single code base. We use that single code base to launch on multiple platforms. This allows a team of 24 members, artists and developers, to build out a good product that I get kicked out of all again and again. But yeah, that's mostly what we are focusing on right now, and I think we will be very very much successful in doing so, based on the feedback we've received from the community without doing anything. Like till
Yeah.
now, we haven't done anything related to our community incentives. This isn't incentivized at all. They're standing on top of me right now. But once we start with the incentives, we'll go to the next level. It will be something that Web3 gaming has not seen before, and I'm super super excited about that.
Man, this is gonna be so funny to rewatch Ghosty because you will there from minute one, it's like just you, and then like as the minutes go by, it's just a bunch of people just stacking on top of you. Um, man, this I swear, this is you are already manifesting the success of Spellborn, and honestly, I get even more bullish every time I hop on a conversation with you regarding this. I love the names. Can I just say that first of all? To go from a beaver to just say Justin to the dog you're describing as just a good boy. Like I'm laughing because this is exactly what's considered as like virality in the Web 2 sense, right? This is the type of stuff that entertains like the current generation and what we consider funny. So this is the type of stuff, man. I'm really grateful for today's conversation. I know we're also coming up on the hour here, but we covered so much, which I'm really glad, from updates to just getting general thoughts to the next steps, what you're focusing on, the roadmap. And it's clearer than ever, right? I know this isn't even all the players fit into one screen, but just this little screenshot alone tells you so much of how many people are just fans of not just the game, but also fans of you, Gosi. And I think that's something that, I want to give your flowers for. Not a lot of founders are even willing enough to spend this much time with their community on a day-to-day basis, man. So I even see a lot of familiar names. I'm trying to read the username. I see Frenchie right there, man. That is, and honestly, I love the new skins. I love all these costumes that I'm seeing for every single one of these players, man. It definitely just makes me want to keep checking in and seeing what's next for Spellborn. But Gosi, I know we talked about so much. With 3 minutes left, is there anything else you wanted to mention before we do wrap up here?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our new battle pass coming out on first in 3 days. If you haven't completed your battle pass till now, please do, because it will end in 2 days. So the Pooh Bear skin will just finish. It won't be available again. And for the new battle pass, even on the free side, we are adding cosmetics in the next month. So make sure to complete that as well. We do have our attribute system, our skill system going live next month, as well as I would say staking for our apartments. So if you hold an apartment, staking is going live soon. So Glory Store will also go live. And if you have stacked out a lot of items in the game itself and you want to sell them, aftermarket offers are coming soon, probably next week. So you will be able to sell your excessive items back to the market and get gold nuggets to use for whatever you want. So a lot of things coming in. And if you have been checking out the game regularly, make sure that you're participating in PvP, because that's the way to kind of earn most of the tokens this time around in season 2. And if you are just playing for fun, then iOS and Android releases are also coming soon, most likely next month. And they are already in testing, so we will probably open up testing to more users, and we will probably share out some forms around that as well.
And this is the type of stuff you want to hear, guys. First of all, shout out to everyone here in the stream that showed up. I see many of the comments. Shout out Navo, Toonie, all of you guys. I appreciate you showing up today. And to all the new viewers, right? Don't forget Spellborn. You can follow them on Twitter. You just gotta look them up. But man, what an amazing catch up session this past hour. Gozi, thank you so much for your time. To everyone here, we are going to be bouncing back and forth between spaces and streams still. Obviously, we're going to remind people of the cadence here. We did slow down a little bit, but that doesn't mean we're stopping, right? So definitely play Spellborn if you haven't already. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Join the community. Bugosi, and to everyone here watching today's stream, thank you guys so much for your time for the past hour. I wish everyone here a beautiful rest of the day, night, afternoon, and we will see you guys at the next one. All right. Have a good one. Cheers and peace out, guys.